my colleague members of cabinet, as well as our technical assistants. We got Health Secretary, who's a lead personnel in this endeavor to keep our country safe from the effect of corona. We also have, because it's now a national security issue and matter, we have Defense Commander, we have Police Commissioner, we have almost a whole of government approach in this effort against, effort in our fight against corona to ensure our country remains corona-free and to ensure our country has every necessary steps taken to firstly stop corona from coming into our country. Secondly, if a breakthrough happens by 1 or 2 persons, then we stop it from expanding beyond that 1 or 2 candidates identified. And thirdly, and most importantly, we stop it from killing our people or affecting our people and our country. So those strategies are being worked on. As it is an emergency situation, the hotline is established. The committee that is on call for this, on call 24 hours a day to ensure that we are on top of everything we are doing to the best of our ability and to ensure that our nation remains safe from this. We've taken some measures lately, most of you would have known. As of this Sunday, flights are banned from coming in, and this will give us an opportune time to step back from Sunday, the flights are banned, and to check every passengers that are coming in since that 14-day window that needs to be checked on to ensure that we still monitor them and to create a buffer for a week period at the first instance when we say a flight is banned for a week. But if need be, depending on situations globally, because we also are beneficiary to better systems outside or victim to deficient system outside as we interface with those countries that have flight connections with us or a relationship with us. So we are on standby to monitor what happens on Sunday week as we close down flights and for our international context and this coming Sunday and onwards. And that ban period should give us a buffer in which we tidy up on every person that has on travel into our country. There is now a case established in Ley. A few days ago, there was a report that emanated from a test that was done by PNG Institute of Medical Research that did indicate possibility of a person infected. To confirm further, we ran 2 tests. One test proved negative, and wasn't conclusive, but a second test proved positive. And so we now elevated that candidate that we've confirmed as a person that is a suspect case. He belongs to about 19 or so person of interest that has come into our country since the COVID-19 was first established. And that 19 person of interest has been something that we picked up from the system that we've established since January when COVID-19 was first established. Since January, there were over 5,000 or so travelers who've come into our country. Our own observation or contact point system at Jackson's Airport, and as well as our 4 designated port places have been managing them, keeping track on them, and from the travelers, over 5,000 who've come in, we've been able to contain down to 19 persons of interest. And of that 19 persons of interest, 1 now has come out, and this, in my view, gives me a little bit of satisfaction in the fact that our own system, despite the inadequacies that we have in our system, I'll respond to register every person that has traveled in, and our health department, with all agencies who've been working with it, including immigration, customs, and various telephone companies who assist us are able to trace those persons of interest. And this one person in Morobe, who happens to work in one of our mining companies there, who came in from Spain and transited through Singapore, came in. He arrived with no evidence of symptom, but as he went into workplace, he developed some symptoms, and from those symptoms, further tests were made. Immediately he was picked up based on link between our monitoring system here, led by Health Department, Immigrations, and the companies who he works with. And as response were able to be done in quick time. He was picked up, placed in quarantine. As we speak today, he's under house isolation, and he's recovered from every indication that we've received so far. But the latest test that will be sent both to our IMR as well as to confirm in a laboratory in Melbourne to confirm his specific status before his release. From what we've gathered, he's recovered fully, and the context that he's made, fortunately, as I said, this was a litmus test for us to see how we can trace if someone who's coming with a positive, trace back to his every step and his context made before he entered Port Moresby or entered our country and externally. We were able to pinpoint exactly who he was with up until today, and those persons of interest associated with this red flagged individual has also now been found, kept, quarantined, isolated to ensure that they are managed. But as we speak, I think that contact was, his first contact on here was the 13th of March. Today is 20th of March, and those that he's been contacting with, I think 10 or so of them that he's made contact with have been monitored and observed, and they, fortunately for us, have found no symptoms of the virus. So the only red flag person has been isolated, and he's come out of it quite well. We're sending a test further down to Melbourne to ensure that he's totally cleared of coronavirus before he's released into society. And this in my view, is giving us an opportunity to have one case in which it could make government assess how prepared we are for further cases, if it does happen. So let me announce to the country that we mustn't panic. In as much as we can, we have systems in place to monitor those who are persons of interest. Our hotline is active, and most of you would now know, apart from the number we had before, we're now migrating into a better hotline. We're having presence of on-call operators of the hotline to ensure that there's a regular contact with our citizens. And in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, when we isolate ourselves from contact with the outside world, we should try to clear out or eliminate persons of interest who come in, who maybe showing will show to us that we've basically filtered ourselves from people who've come in and who are virus-free in our country. So that is in our interest, and I encourage our citizens to be informed and correctly informed that there is no mass people with the virus running around free. The only one person that we've confirmed, and we've taken the last 2 or 3 days to ensure that the correct information comes out into society, and as I speak today, that person has been grounded, totally isolated, and once he's given a green light and medically free, then he will come out. As I speak today, they're being informing me. In fact, we have Mr. Kepaswali from the company who's here with us, is just also confirming to us the steps that they've taken internally, assisting Health Department to ensure compliance to isolation is done to our expectations. Let me thank every other companies out there who've shown their level of commitment to partner the Health Department and the response team we're putting to ensure that our country still remains basically on high alert in the event of facing coronavirus in country. and most of our companies who have workers coming in and out have now been reinformed to reorganize themselves, and fly in, fly out is something that we are looking at to stop and to ensure that we shift towards lockdown process in the next 1 week that we've studied, and moving into the future, hopefully that lockdown, depending on need, can be extended beyond. And I thank those who in the mining space, I think Lihir Mine has indicated that there will be no fly in, fly out. And we also now, as a response, national response unit, will talk to a few other big mining companies who are around to ensure that they also responding in a similar manner Lihir has responded to. The health minister has put out restrictions now, and let me read from what has been put out. There's 7-day travel ban starting this Sunday, and we also banning gathering of more than 100 people in any one place, and this ban starts. In fact, as I speak, that for the interest of ensuring our country remains coronavirus free, and if something slips through and doesn't spread, then it is better for everyone not to associate and be together in public places. So we're stopping people from gathering over 100 people mustn't congregate over any one place all the time. Health Minister and myself will be the only two contact persons making formal statement on COVID viruses going into the future. We'd like to have daily briefs on this one. So every afternoon there's a uniform information going out, so our people are better informed as to what is happening. And basic hygiene things like our citizens, if you care and worry about coronavirus, you keep yourself debt-free, washing hands every day. As we did indicate earlier, we, instead of pulling or shaking hands, we do a punch, shake hands, and basically, ethics like when you're coughing, you close your mouth and cough, and all this sort of thing. So we're encouraging every Papua New Guineans to be sensitive to the time we're in, and make sure that some of our social habits are being refined to adjust to the need for us to be safe in the event that coronavirus hits us. But at this point in time, there is no evidence that the virus has spread yet. This one case that has come out positive has been contained, lockdown, and he's okay. He's a Caucasian, 45 years old Caucasian who works in a mining company, and it's been locked down and kept safe. He's going around feeling free. We hope that when his tests come out negative again for his latest test that has gone down, then he will be allowed to come out. Let me also, we're on the lookout for this one, so the country mustn't be panicking. We encourage everyone as we go into the future, eat a lot of garden food. We are fortunate to still be a country of food that we pick a lot of food from garden produce, eat organic food, eat garden food, drink a lot of water. If the shops run out of food, then I encourage all the locals who live around Port Moresby to go more and bring all your produce into markets. It's a good time for you to make money from your local producers instead of depending on rice and flour and all this sort of thing all the time. So government will be on standby. On Monday, we will announce, after Cabinet on Monday, possibly Tuesday, we will announce some stimulus packets and incentives for our business community. Planning Minister is standing beside me. He's at work. And Treasurer will together put a package to ensure that our business communities who are affected in this time where the economy is being hit hard, that our government will look at within the context of our 2020 revenue. There'll be some stimulus for business communities out there, and we're talking with our Treasury and Planning. We're also talking with our financial institutions to ensure that the business stimulus is prepared for our business community in our country, for us to keep our heads above waters as we run through this very, very serious phase in our nation's life, as we face not just coronavirus, but more importantly, an economic stress in our country as we live through. At this juncture, also let me announce my pleasure in the fact that Kumul Petroleum Holdings is now giving us a dividend of 100 million kina that will come in, and some of this funding will be used to assist in the process consistent with our budget provision. But more so, has also donated, on top of that 100 million kina dividend to our treasury, has donated 5 million kina directly to our National Response Unit in our efforts to ensure that we finish quarantine facility we are building here in Port Moresby. We will also be relocating PNG IMR to be based in Port Moresby also to run tests. PNG IMR will also be based in Lae to run tests, Medang and Goroko as well, to ensure that our testing laboratories are prepared ready in the event of future incidences of corona if it does happen. But our first and foremost for us today as we speak is to ensure that our borders are completely protected so that we don't get 1 or 2 more cases. That case that slipped through, as I said earlier, is part of observation that our National Health Department, our response team, as well as immigration have been monitoring. He was part of the 19 person of interest. Of the 19 person of interest, 18 have now come out negative, and out of the 19, 1 has come out positive, and that 1 is being kept as we speak to ensure that from him it doesn't proliferate or spread out into cluster into occurrences of coronavirus right across our country. So that is where we're at, and we thank Kumul for giving 5 million kina directly into the response unit. I appeal at this juncture, if anyone good Samaritan out there, we have mobilizing a network of supporting hand who are coming out to fight this. We got the main health department and the main government agencies that are mobilized, but as well as the private sector, and we got many private and semi-government organizations who are coming in. We have, for instance, St. John Ambulance on standby, and many support network to ensure that coronavirus, if it does hit us, is
We're just having an issue there with our feed coming in. We'll head off for a very quick break and bring you more of the Prime Minister's statements on the first case of coronavirus in Papua New Guinea.
What's in this?
Love.
Wow! What's in this?
Love.
Yum! What's in this? Look, my wife's secret ingredient.
So that is the case, that is the announcement today. We will have daily announcements by the Health Minister. Sometimes you all ask, why is the Prime Minister not coming in to make announcements? But we've allowed ministers to do work, and with respect to them, and I have every confidence in the work of all ministers, and they are doing work that they're supposed to do. In the event that I need to step in, I will step in, but Health Minister will continue to intervene as we go in, but in one or two critical occasions, you will see me stepping in to make press statements or make contact with the public on this matter. But every agency of state is on high alert to ensure our country remains free from corona going in. That person who's a red flag person is now safe and stable. Person is made contact with, we've established, none of them are infected with coronavirus as we speak, so that's an assurance for our country, but we have to be on high alert going into the future. Tasol, anything else from anyone? If I've forgotten, Health Minister, Health Secretary, you want to, otherwise I think I pretty much sounded everything a lot, and we will call another press on Monday afternoon on this matter after Cabinet has deliberated. Cabinet will sit down, go through the final protocols of how we will be dealing with this one. As I said, this is a national emergency situation now. It will encroach into your privacy. It will also encroach into your daily habits. And as I said, part of our call out now is to ensure that we 100 people at any one time. We are aware many fake news are being speculated. Police is part of this task force. Defense is part of this task force. And if someone is deliberately out there in the public space propagating deliberate negatives, then you'll be sued and charged appropriately. And we are working to ensure we identify those in social media, those in those for reasons only known to themselves. But in moments like this, we've come together, pull together. Nation must bind together and bond together. So that's what we're appealing to everyone. Let's forget all our petty little differences, whether it's a church difference, or political difference, or tribal difference, or business difference. We live in and protection of our border is very important, and that's what we're all about, to ensure that our country is safe from corona. I did apologize, did I, to those who are using Air Guinea flights. We apologize. On Sunday, it's just blanket ban now, and we want to give a window off. And so Papua New Guineans who are outside and not coming on Sunday, we apologize for this, but we'll be signaling wherever Papua New Guineans are. You let us know through the hotline and through another foreign affairs number that we will set up. You advise us, and we will interface with the countries you're at, so that if in the event your visa is an issue or something like this, then your stay can be noted for it to be uplifted when we on later on as we go into the future. Okay, Hemta Solomi, today, thank you, media, for coming by. Let's be agents of sending positive message to our country.
The restriction on public gathering, does that include schools and churches and markets?
We this intention known, and that cabinet on Monday will give the exact specification of the minister's gazettal that has gone out.
So we should know by Monday schools will still be open. Tuesday. Will close.
Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, we should know. So we're taking those measures. Christians and church. I don't intend to question their faith, but we've now made this pronouncement, and on Monday we'll come out clearly exactly what is the final details of those announcements. So.
Prime Minister, we had a criminal case announced just this week. Some of the measures have just almost already this week, especially the flights having a restriction of flights. That was 20 flights launched yesterday. Do you feel that we should have done some of these measures or conducted or announced these measures at least a week ago? 2 weeks ago. What are your views on that right now?
Good question. I mean, since January, we've been at work in this one. Most of you would have noted that Jackson's airport have always been very strict surveillance, strict monitoring, and in terms of ascertaining exactly who is coming in. And as I did indicate by statistics, over 5,000 passengers have come in and out in the last 3 months. and in between 3,000 to 5,000 passengers. Exact number can be supplied later on. But of that, the 19 persons of interest, one has been hit with red. So that should give some level of comfort to us that it's not as if we haven't been proactive. This one now gives us opportunity to move in the next phase. We will be wrapping up to ensure that our facility to quarantine, not necessarily only in Port Moresby, but Lae and other centers are prepared. Our Minister for Intergovernmental Relations is also part of this occasion to ensure that contact with the provincial administrators right across the country, they're receiving adequate information on the same level of instructions that we are passing. So, coming to your question, and a good question, it's not to say we have not been active in this front. We've been active in the defense strategy in the contact areas. And until this point, 2 months of contact with people.
And that was our live coverage of a press conference by Prime Minister James Marape. Now, as a recap, PNG has now recorded its first imported positive case of COVID-19 after being flagged as one of 19 persons of interest. The Health Minister has confirmed public quarantine measures in response to our first case. These measures will take effect next week, Monday. All inbound international flights are to stop this Sunday. Now, we'll continue streaming online, but for the rest of our viewers out there on MTV television, bye for now.